Okay, it's now 6:03 and we're beginning the meeting and just before we went live to the world, we had a discussion about minutes and I have been very negligent in getting to Leah the necessary recording and translation. So uh, with the best of intentions, I actually stayed late one night to try to download them, and after an hour, it still hadn't finished processing. So I went home, and in the heat of the battle over things since I've forgotten. So I want to take my share of responsibility for offering the delay in any non-compliance with statute. So uh, we that's the story on that. Has anyone want to suggest any changes to the brief agenda that we have for this evening? Uh, my ears are open. I don't have much to go through, but if there's something really critical, we can go for it and talk about it, or at least discuss it briefly before deciding. But I wanted to go through just as a explanation, things that are here to cover us in terms of what we need to do between now and the 10th of, I'm sorry, early January in order to get this to the newspaper for processing and publishing. I know they don't do it the next day. I think from my past exposure as a select board member, it would take on average 3 days to get it in the paper. So I wanted to precede the time that we had set up to send this in by approximately 4 calendar days so that we make that deadline without having to bring about any deferments for a meeting. Hopefully that meets with your approval. If there are no topics to talk about, um, we can start in on item number 4 at 6:08, and it's only 6:05, so hopefully we can leave earlier. Matt was kind enough to get a red line version of the plan to us. I noted all the corrections that he made, both in terms of the implementation plan and the fact that he updated Athens's data to a more current date. They, in fact, apparently have a plan that's either finalized or very close to such, and Matt brought that forth, and he deleted a section or two in a little portion of our, it was just a very, very line, 2 words, I think, that he added, and I had no problem with that. Um, how anyone else have any concerns or thoughts about what Matt has provided us with? As you may not remember, he did state that he would have the maps and the appendices to us in short order before we go to press or publish, so and mailing to the adjoining towns in Wyndham Regional and ACCD. So, uh, any thoughts, feelings, expressions of need for addressing any concerns or issues?
And I was just going to note quickly, Stan, thanks for sending the revisions to the Earth Resources map, and Jeff already made those edits to remove those 2 pits. So, um,
Thank you.
yeah, assuming there aren't any final last minute tweaks tonight, I will save a clean version of the plan in PDF format and add in all the appendices and the updated maps tomorrow, um, so that that is ready to go.
Super,
Yeah.
super. Right in the background, I'm putting the things that we're talking about together in a package so that I can forward them to the town clerk who needs to complete the certification. So I'm keeping her in the loop.
Okay.
Sent her the statute that applies to her necessity in doing this. The only thing I had is a question is the actual mailing or emailing of those items. Does that need to be done by the planning chair or the planning commission? Does it actually need to be done by the town clerk? Because I couldn't determine from the statute. I know there's the need for the certificate, but it doesn't say any of the detail about who does what. But since it is a planning commission function that we're dealing with, I'm kind of suspecting that it's typically the planning committee that or the chair that actually takes care of that. Does that work? Is that an accurate statement?
So there's no requirement. I think it's fine if it's the town clerk that sends it out. I know we talked about y- if you're going to send it by email, I'm not sure if the town uses Outlook for its email service, but there is a function in there to get confirmation that an email has been received. Um, and if Marjorie has questions about that, I know where it is in Outlook, so I'm happy to just help on the technical side of things with that. And I think I would just recommend if Marjorie is sending it out, just to include in the email, like the body of the email that gets sent out, your contact information, Stan, just in case
Okay,
if planning commission chair of a surrounding town had a comment or question that goes directly to you rather than to
okay,
Marjorie.
that's a good idea.
But
Yeah,
it's not the end of the world if that doesn't happen. Just trying to
uh-huh,
improve
okay,
communications. So
yeah, yeah, okay, good, good. Uh, so, uh, am I hearing that again, we don't need to approve the plan tonight, as Matt aptly pointed out in his email. But does anyone have any issue with what we have so far? Just as feedback, uh, nothing, I see Leah shaking her head no, Michael shaking his head no. I said no, so I guess we're good to go on that. I'd next like to go over the report that Matt was kind enough to put together for us that also needs to accompany that report to those other entities in adjoining towns. Um, it all looked pretty good. The only minor concern I had was in number 11. It almost looked like you meant to include or type the word with, WITH, and what was printed was the WIT. And it's the third or fourth sentence in section 11 of the
yeah,
report.
yeah.
And so I didn't know if that was the case. I thought I'd ask, not to be
So
picky, but
that is a typo. I apologize. I sometimes I do not closely reread my writing. So
well, it's hard to. I've been there, done that.
yep.
But thank you. It was very complete. You aptly dealt with things that could be interpreted in a number of ways, and it appeared to fit in nicely with the verbiage that was included in our plan. That's just my opinion. I don't know if Michael and Leah, how they feel about, or if they've read it, hopefully they have, and or wish to make any other comments or discussion.
No comments.
No,
No,
no, none
no
for me,
comments.
none for me,
Oh,
none for this. So looks
okay,
like we're
I'll
good to
fix
go on
that.
the.
Yeah, I'll fix that one little typo.
Thank you, thank
Yep.
you. And the next thing, I think the last thing would be the notice of hearing. I reviewed a similar notice for the town of Athens, and I also had one of significantly different format from the town of Putney. And I chose this format because I know we're charged by it's either words or space. And the other methodology that Putney had used, which is more of an outline form, creates it to be a lot longer than it
Mhm.
would be through this more of a conversational approach. So I point that out. I'm aware of that other option, but uh, I would be very interested in any input in terms of content, format, any other options that you would prefer that we pursue, or any comments on what I did. Go ahead.
You're referring to the notice of public hearing?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I thought it looked good. I mean, it meets what you're required to do in statute. I like keeping it short and straight to the point too. So and
I did note that I did not put the last paragraph in the same font as the rest of it, so I will make that consistent with the top three paragraphs. Uh, I'm sorry to have interrupted you, man.
oh no, that's all I had to say. So
Okay, good, good, good.
Stan,
Uh,
in the interest of sounding like I have very few comments and then, show up at the end with one, I went ahead and just cleaned up the font and some of the spacing in it just to simplify. So I'll send it to you after the meeting if it's helpful.
Fantastic, Leah. Thank you so much. That's great.
I have a question. Where is this notice of public hearing? Where's it get posted or announced or what we put in this thing?
It's my understanding that this goes along with the package that we send to each of the towns, Wyndham Regional and ACCD.
Okay,
That's
And
right.
then, if it's that actual, and the now, and I either now or the 15 days prior to the hearing, it needs to appear on, three bulletin boards in town.
okay.
Am I accurate on that, Matt? Okay.
That's correct. So it's the same notice that gets sent right to adjacent towns and WRC and DHCD. That it's this, same notice that gets posted around town and in the
Okay.
newspaper. Yep.
And Marjorie typically posts stuff on the website.
Yeah, she's very good at that. She's
Yeah.
actually,
That'll be done too.
when I've asked her to do that, Marjorie is
Yeah.
so detailed that she'll email me back saying,
Yeah.
we've done it. And so I have no doubt. I don't have to guess.
Okay.
She's very, very professional. I appreciate that from her. Well, that got us through, I think, item number 5. Does anyone want to go over? I guess the only thing I can add to number 6 are the things that people want to go over at this point. I guess we can send out the 30-day notice in January, 15 days from the date of 15 days before the hearing date. We need to publish the hearing notice in the paper, and then definitely, if we haven't already done so, post it on the bulletin boards within the town.
So,
I will have already sent it to the town clerk by then, so.
maybe you've covered this and I'm missing it, but these things say action. We need motions and votes?
Uh,
In number 4 and
I
5.
put action in the event that anyone thought we should, and upon discussion, we found that we needed to.
Yeah,
And in fact, the only thing that I feel would need a formal action, and I should backtrack, is item number 4, where I had mentioned that the concept of maybe it's a good idea for the board to make a vote on submitting the plan to the town legislative body and proceed in the process of complying with state statute in terms of the newspaper, the hearing notice being 30 days, those other entities, and then 15 days. So we've actually decided formally to do it, knowing that we're not doing an approval of the actual plan that we've got developed up to this point. So I don't know if there would be, it sounds like that is not a bad idea in terms of taking that motion. I don't know if anyone would want to second that.
that's what
And
I do make the motion, so I understand.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just want to make sure I get the text of the motion right. It's a recommendation to the select board, or it's a
well, it's our vote by our committee to agree to proceed in this process of sending
Okay,
the proposed plan to the legislative body of the municipality.
okay, so
So that we comply with the other processes.
you're making a motion to proceed with sending this our planning document to surrounding towns
And the select board,
and the select board.
and ACCD and Wyndham Regional.
And then, okay,
Yeah.
so you're making that motion to send it to those bodies,
Yes,
and I'll second that.
super. This is time for discussion. I see nobody raising their hand. So I guess all in favor of doing as the item vote recommends, say aye.
Aye.
I
Even raised my hand. There's obviously no dissents, no negatives, so it's an approved done deal. Okay, I briefly discuss what I intend to do. At some point, it looks like we will need to actually finalize the plan in terms of whatever level of completion the planning commission feels it wants to provide. And I think we have to do that before the middle of January. Because once we submit it to the select board, we cannot make any changes. At that point, if I understand the process correctly, it is the select board's duty to review that proposed plan, either approve it or make motions or suggest amendments to that plan. And then there is a time frame by which the planning committee must respond. I think it's 10 days, it could be 15. And if there are amendments that the select board wishes to make, this would probably extend the time frame for their actions when they need to provide notice of hearing and hold a hearing. Is that reasonably accurate, Matt?
So I would say, what I will do tomorrow is just save these last redlined edits to the plan that I had sent on Friday, and create a PDF that's a clean version of the plan with all the appendices, including the town plan maps in there, and send that to you all tomorrow. And so that PDF could be sent to Marjorie with instructions for her
Okay.
for distributing everything and getting the hearing notice posted. I would recommend, so once you send out the 30-day notice to surrounding towns, you can't make any changes to the plan until after your public hearing on February 10th. I think at this point, I wouldn't worry about if there's kind of minor grammatical issues or anything like that. I think it's best just to get the plan out there, to meet the statutory requirements, and then you can let me know between now and February 10th of like, oh, there's a typo here or other issues here, and I will correct all that after February 10th. And then also at the hearing on February 10th, if there are any public comments, you'll have a chance to consider those and make changes to the plan after February 10th, and before it gets sent to the select board. And so you can make changes to the plan after the public hearing. You don't have to hold a second public hearing, even if you make changes to the plan. And then once the plan goes to the select board, they'll have to hold their own public hearing, and they have to wait at least 30 days to hold that hearing. So, our hope is that there are very little or no comments on February 10th, and we can send it right along to the select board, because I know we're targeting mid-March for them to approve it. And so that builds in that 30-day period between when you all are done with the plan and when they can hold their hearing. So does that all make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for the clarity. You did it better than I did. So,
It's all the all the dates and deadlines and all that in statute. It's very difficult to keep track of. So
yeah, okay. Any other concerns, questions, topics that anyone attending this meeting currently would wish to address?
I would like to ask a question about the approval timeline. Are we targeting March 7th? You said March for the select board approval. Is that like March 17th? Because we meet on the 3rd and the 17th.
I think it's March 17th. Yep.
Yep.
I just didn't
That's-
recall. I know it was the second meeting. I didn't know the date. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute, now March 17th, will we have a new board then?
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's always.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think one of the questions we might want to ask, since the majority of us are here, is after the election, the first meeting in March is the day after, I think. I don't have the calendar in front of me. But the next day after the town meeting, I think, is the first select board meeting of the new board that's elected at town meeting.
Mhm.
Generally, prior to the holding of the town meeting, someone within the town is appointed to contact all the committees in town and ask the members of each committee whether or not they would like to continue on in the committee under the newly to be organized committee on the day after town meeting. I don't know how many of you thought about that. I have. I guess as a example, will say I am willing to continue on in some capacity on the planning committee. That probably is going to require a reorganization in and of itself, maybe. I forget what the term limits are. Uh, but so I don't know if Mike, you have a comment or
I have a
idea?
comment to try to simplify this,
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Suppose the select board, and we approve the plan on the 17th of February? Ahead
Well,
of, is that
yeah,
possible?
unfortunately, because unfortunately the select board has to wait 30 days to hold a hearing, and they can't approve it
Okay.
until after the
Well,
hearing. So,
I see. So, well, when's the select board's held hearing in our current thinking? Is that February 17th? I mean, March 17th?
March 17th.
Mhm.
So,
March 17th is, in our planning, has been the time for the select board to host a hearing.
I
right, and
recall our discussions were that the hearing was going to be before the second meeting that the select board has in March. So that hearing starts at 5:30, whatever, and then that ends, and then the select board holds its
Okay.
second
Mhm.
official meeting of the new
Okay,
board.
but we can't do that on February 17th because why?
You better,
because you have to wait, because if the planning commission holds their hearing on February 10th, the earliest we could get it to the select board is February 11th, and then they have to wait 30 days
Okay, all right.
to hold a
Okay,
hearing. Yeah.
all right, all right. Okay, well.
Can I ask
one more-
a clarifying question? So, I mean, potential wrinkle, I guess, would be if there are new select board members who have not been party to this process at all, receive an 80-page document, a day into their tenure, and then have questions or things like that. Do we, and I should know this, so forgive me, I'm going to claim out-of-towner status for this, but how early before town meeting do we know who would intend to be on the select board? Like, is it feasible that we could circulate the plan or something like that in advance to anyone who's demonstrated an interest, or just to kind of work through that and make sure they have some time to react?
we're going to have our hearing in February. So, and again, there will be a notice in the paper the end of January. So, and we probably could even be more aggressive and place notification of the hearing in the Front Porch Forum. And Julie Julie Lavordna has a listserv with 188 households in Brookline that she can send stuff out to. So I think if we handle this aggressively, and I promise I will participate in making sure both of those avenues are utilized in addition to the standard, so that, and maybe even mention that it's going to be part of the new select board's function in its second meeting to be aware of the plan, so that those interested in running may want to take the time, and so they'll have really a month and a half to review that document before they make a decision. So it will not be a completely unfair scenario for anyone joining the board to have to go through. If they're going to be a select board member, they got to start working like a select board member, and that means extra time and effort.
But there's
I
no
agree
like
with that.
declaration requirement. Like, there's no like you have to sort of be on the ballot, so to speak, a certain period of time. Forgive me again for not knowing this, but like, okay, so
No,
like I could show up at town
decide that
meeting
night.
and nominate myself, and
Ellen,
okay.
Ellen Beer, Emily Beer decided at, 6:05 to run, and she was elected at 6:07.
Okay,
So,
fair.
unanimously.
Okay.
But what can also happen is by the end of March 2nd, right, that night, we'll know
Yeah,
who the new select board members are, and we can say,
hit them
hey,
with
there's a vote
printouts.
coming up on the 17th. Here's the report, kind of get them up to speed. And they got 2 weeks to read it. At the same time, it doesn't have to be unanimous, right? I mean,
Right.
it's a majority of the select board,
Mhm.
and so probably you won't have a majority of the new select board being new, and
Yeah.
so probably 3 votes
Yeah.
will carry it, no matter
How,
what.
yeah. How many seats are up for election on your select board? Do you know?
I think there's 3.
Okay.
I think there's 3, but I think folks will re-up to some
Yep.
degree.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
good question, and we did, so there are answers available to it, and again, for those that we know are contemplating at least running again, we can add that additional comment that Mike has brought up that, hey, you got something happening here in a couple of weeks after town meeting, and so if you
Mhm.
need it, we'll send it to you directly, but you can get it from the town website.
I'm up. I'm new. My slot is up, and I think Bruce's is up. We're probably both running again. Then there's Matt Marks, which is probably up in the air, and then Emily's rolling over, and Doug, I think, rolled over. So okay, we can manage it.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
We can
I
get
mean,
3
it's
votes.
a small risk. I just, I don't know.
Yeah, we
I've
can get
worked
3
with
votes out of it.
rogue corporate boards in the past who sometimes decide since they weren't involved, they have feelings about things. So
Yeah.
fair
Somebody
enough.
can abstain. I mean, as long as I got 3 votes, you can abstain if
Right.
you don't feel comfortable voting.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, and I don't have a problem, I don't, I think Nat had mentioned in the stuff that goes out to the adjoining towns and stuff. I don't mind being named as a contact, but if and when we send these things out through Front Porch Forum and or Julie's website, if other of present company wish to be also a source of contact, that I don't have no problem with that either. We're all in this boat together one way or another, so I'm just willing to play my role as best I can and as fully as I can and not be, the one person show. So if anyone wants to volunteer for that aspect, I'm open to that. The more the merrier, but I don't mind putting my name out there for contact for those people who might have an interest in running, not knowing that perhaps we have a pretty much solid renewal of the current people who want to stay on. So if nothing further, we're at 6:31 and a half, maybe.
Late.
We could, we're late. We could call the meeting adjourned at this point if it's so decided. Or again, if there's more topics, Leah, don't hesitate to ask another one.
I just
No,
one
Matt
last
says
final
he-
thing. I'll attend the public hearing on February 10th too, just to let you know.
Terrific,
Yeah.
terrific. Thank you. That ran through my mind earlier and
Yeah. Just want to
Putting one
confirm
side,
that.
the
Yeah.
others. Thank you, thank you. If no further comment, we adjourn the meeting. I'll stop the recording and end the meeting. And wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Happy
Thank you.
holidays. to all.
Okay.
Yeah. Happy holidays.
care.
Outs waiting.
Safe
Thank you,
travels.
you too. Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care.